Shall be joining here.
Good
Welcome
morning,
everyone.
sir.
Good morning. Welcome in our social online class, social Zoom class. Okay. Today's topic is the same which lesson was taught by me yesterday to all of you. Same lesson I'm going to continue today. Lesson 5.3. Major topic goes like that. Judiciary. Okay. Look here, judiciary. I have taught you yesterday. It is called in Nepali Nyayapalika. You have got enough knowledge on this. Actually, judiciary. It's different tier of judiciary, level of judiciary. You have got idea on it. Hierarchy of judiciary regarding Supreme Court, High Court, and District Court. Today we are going to focus our class, this virtual class, on power and function of the judiciary. What are the power and function of the judiciary? You know that judiciary is the third major organ of the Nepal government, which gives justice to the innocent people and punishment to the culprit. Or in this way also you can define judiciary is the such organ of Nepal government which implement the laws, practically prepared by the legislature, isn't it? Legislature prepare the laws, government also implement that laws, especially government runs the administration of the nation, and this practically those laws, constitution are implemented, interpreted, explained, and utilized by efficiently by judiciary. Judiciary. Therefore, we can tell that Supreme Court, 77 District Court, and 7 High Court of Nepal are collectively known as judiciary. Their major function is to give the justice to the innocent people and punishment to the culprit. Suppose one that innocent people who is suppressed their, whose human rights has been violated there, whose relative has been murdered there, suppose if he or she has filed case in Supreme Court, District Court, or High Court, those judicial bodies has to give him or her a fair justice there. Okay. Regarding this very matter, we are going to today discuss on detail. Look here, power and functions of judiciary. First, power and function of judiciary goes like this. Okay, goes like this. Look here. Judiciary is the system of courts that interprets and applies the law in the name of the state. What judiciary does, what Supreme Court, 77 District Court, 7 High Court does, that they interpret the laws. It means they explain the laws and even they applies the laws. Okay, all they implement the laws. It means Supreme Court, High Court, District Court implement the laws, applies the laws, and if it is required, it interprets also the laws, different parts, schedules, and different parts and schedules of the Constitution and laws are that even described logically by the different judges, chief justice, chief judge, lawyer, and advocate who are working in District Court, High Court, and Supreme Court. Simply keep in mind, judiciary interprets the laws and applies the laws in the name of the state. Number two, second function and power of the judiciary goes like this. Judiciary must remain impartial and independent, otherwise it cannot give fair verdict. It means judiciary provides fair verdict. Judiciary provide, justice to the innocent people and punishment to the culprit. It means. Number third, there is provision of 3 tier of courts in Nepal, especially information are given regarding the judiciary. Look here, there are 3 tier of courts in Nepal. We have discussed in detail yesterday, therefore, why to describe Supreme Court, High Court, and District Court. Now here has been given in details what are the functions of the power and function of the judiciary. Look here, let's go to the major point. We actually have we have hung in the minor points here. Look here, judicial function. Judicial function, न्यायिक कार्य, न्यायपालिकाको न्यायिक कार्य, judicial functions of judiciary. What comes under, what sort of functions comes under the judicial function of judiciary? Look here. Chief function of judiciary is to provide justice to citizen, justice to the citizen by using prevailing law. If you have faced any sort of problem there, suppose your relative have been murdered there, suppose you are taken into the custody without reason there. At that time, you can go to the Supreme Court, District Court, or High Court to get the justice. At that time, this judiciary provides you justice on the basis of the prevailing law. On the basis of this prevailing law, this function and power of the judiciary comes under judicial function. Similarly, it also gives jurisdiction, official power to make legal decision on the both cases, civil and criminal. Both kind of cases are handled by civil, case filed by the ordinary people, and criminal, even criminal cases are also handled. Both type of that cases are that handle, supervised, judged by the judiciary. Therefore, it also comes under judiciary. Similarly, look here, Supreme Court can also declare an existing law is void, non-valid, if it is against the spirit of the Constitution. This power can be exercised by Supreme Court, which is in the top hierarchy of the judicial system. In our nation, there is judicial system, and in that judicial hierarchy, Supreme Court is in the top position. This most powerful court of Nepal, Supreme Court, can declare any law as a void, non-valid as well, if that law spirit goes against the Constitution, which is against the Constitution. If there is any law against the main law of the nation, that can be declared non-valid by Supreme Court. This also comes under judicial function of judiciary. Okay. Now let's go to the another thing. What is given here? Waiting. Now number two. In number two, it means second power and function of the judiciary goes like this: interpretation of laws in the Constitution. Second major function of judiciary is to interpret the law, describe the law logically, and describe the Constitution logically. We don't have right to describe the Constitution and laws because we lack knowledge to describe them, to interpret them. But judge, chief judge, chief justice, judges, advocate, lawyer of the District Court, Supreme Court, High Court have a sound knowledge to describe and interpret the laws and Constitution. Therefore, this comes under their duties. Look here, judiciary is the final interpreter of the existing Constitution. Judiciary is the final interpreter. Laws and their provision. For example, it clarifies the vague and technical term used in the Constitution. Different technical term, terminology which is used especially in a law field, in a judiciary field, such technical term and some vague here means complex, that laws, complex terminology are, that described, interpreted logically by the judges and chief judge, and chief justice of the Supreme Court, High Court, and District Court. It means judiciary. Okay. Similarly, it also gives verdict on those cases to which no laws have been formulated in the Constitution. Okay, spelling of Constitution is wrong. Sorry for that. It means if there is not available any such laws, for a particular case, sometimes such case, a different case, unique case is filed there in a court. At that time, require new law, and on the spot, what does those lawyer, advocates, chief justice, judges of the judiciary, prepare the new law, and accordingly they try to give the fair justice on that case as well. They handle that case fairly as well. The verdict given in this way is called precedent. Look here, Nazir in Nepali. नजिर बस्छ है भन्छ नि, नजिर बस्छ, यो त नजिरै भयो नि त भन्छ. इट मिन्स कानुन छैन होइन, कुनै पनि एउटा केसको लागि डिसिजन गर्ने, त्यसलाई ह्यान्डल गर्ने कानुन छैन भने इमिडिएटली इफ जजेस अफ द जुडिसियरी formulate the laws to address that, handle that, solve that particular case, file in a court, it is known as precedent. By using such immediately formulated laws, if any decision is given by the court, it is known as precedent, and precedent, it is called in Nepali Nazir. Precedent can be used to define new cases of similar type in near future as well. If there again will be filed same type of case in near future, same precedent will be used there. Generally, you might know law is formulated by legislature. You know that, member of parliament, and those are practically implemented by the judges from the judiciary. But sometimes there won't be available the law to solve the special and unique one, different one case filed in a judiciary, in a judicial system like Supreme Court, District Court, and High Court. At that time, precedent is used. Okay, in the long run, a precedent may change into law as well. Okay, that must be but passed by 2/3 majority of the member of parliament, member of legislature. You know that law-making body of the Nepal government is known as judiciary. Legislature. Legislature has sole responsibility to formulate and write the law. But if there is not law at that time, even judges can prepare themselves law and can handle the special case. This come under interpretation of laws and constitution, the second functions of powers of the judiciary. Look here, we are discussing on functions of judiciary right now. Look at now, third power and function of the judiciary goes like this: protection of people's rights and freedom. Yes, we have got freedom, we have got human rights, we have got civil rights, fundamental rights from the present constitution. There are altogether 31 fundamental rights, such as right to education, right to wealth, women's rights, children's rights, human rights. So many rights are there. You know that their provision has been made in a present constitution. If any right is violated by anyone, at that time we can go to the judiciary. It means either Supreme Court or High Court, District Court. We can go anywhere and file case against that violator who has break our rights, who has suppressed us, who has actually exploited us. Okay, against such person we can go and file case in a court, and the court has to give us fair decision. The court has to give us fair justice. Look here. There is written, judiciary protects the rights and privileges of its citizens guaranteed by the government. If any rights of a citizen is violated by any individual or authority, the judiciary safeguards it as a provided by law. According to the law, court has to give us justice. Suppose your right has been violated by a police who is actually civil servant of this nation. Even we can file case against that police, and Supreme Court or High Court or District Court, wherever we file case, has to give us fair decision, fair justice. Okay, it is. In this way, by giving us in this way justice to us, if our rights are violated by an individual or authority, what does judiciary? Judiciary protect our rights. Okay, protects our freedom. Yes. Similarly, look here, another function is there. This is the fourth function and power of the judiciary. It goes like this: the advisory function. Yes, advisory function. What is it? What sort of power and function of this judiciary? Look here. A judiciary provides legal advice and suggestion to the legislature, parliament member, and the executive council of minister, Nepal government, on complicated constitutional matters. Look here. Recently, what happened in Nepal? Few days back, yes, nearly 2 weeks back, I think 1 or 2 weeks back, what happened? Sirbadur Deva went to the Supreme Court with the signature of more than 100 member of parliament. I think you have heard about it. And he had requested to, at first he went to the president along taking the, signature of more than 100 member of parliament and requested to make him prime minister of Nepal. But president refused his proposal. As a result, KP Sharma Oli could continue his government. Therefore, Sarbadar Deva went to the Supreme Court to get the justice. He filed case against government and president in the Supreme Court. Supreme Court finally, discuss on that issue, case, and finally gave a direction, directives to appoint the president, Sarbadar Deva on the post of prime minister. I mean, what was there? There was crisis. Okay, there was problem. There was conflict between legislature, especially legislature and executive, KP Sharma Oli and member of parliament. Yes. So at that time, legal advice or legal work, who did? Judiciary did. Supreme Court did. Such cases are also handled by the Supreme Court, Judiciary. Besides that, if member of parliament, a member of legislature require any legal advice on any matter, okay, if prime minister need any actually suggestion, advices from the chief justice of the Supreme Court, chief judge of the High Court, if any home minister, any other minister require any sort of advices, legal advices, at that time they can request to the chief judge, chief justice, judges of the different courts, for that, and they can take the legal advice from them, and they can implement that. Especially they can ask, they can request if they occur the complicated situation, especially complicated constitutional matter. Yes, complicated constitutional matter. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Sir, unorganized and unmanaged are same or not?
Unorganized, unmanaged.
Same होइन. Same
Not
होइन त.
completely same, but to some extent similar, right? Unmanaged, अव्यवस्थित, unorganized भनेको संस्थागत नगरी.
स्थापित नभएको.
Yeah. Look here, now I'm describing the advisory function of the judiciary in this way. On complicated constitutional matter, okay, on complex constitutional matter, judge, chief justice of the judiciary can give advices, legal advices and suggestions to the prime minister, member of legislature, home minister, and minister. This is known as advisory function of the judiciary. Similarly, head of the state, yes, head of the state, president, head of the government, prime minister acts on legal advice in addressing legal problem. If there occur any legal problem, yes, legal problem, and at that time, prime minister also, head of the state, president also can request to give legal advices to them, to the judiciary. This practice is popular, look here, mainly in the countries like Nepal, Canada, Sweden, India, and Australia. In the present context of Nepal, most of the leaders are actually going to the Supreme Court to get the justice. Recently, Janta Samajwadi Party is one faction headed by the Mohanta Thakur. They have also filed case against the election commission, and that Yadav, what is Yadav? Oh, he is actually faction as per the legality, recognition. I forgot his name. I mean, even political parties, political leader, that they actually go frequently to the Supreme Court to get the justice, to ask the legal advices on the different legal problem in a different complex constitutional matter. Okay, it's going on in Nepal. It is in practice widely. It is it is being practiced widely in Nepal. Look here, now fifth one, functions of the judiciary goes like this: check and balance among the organ of the government. Organ means three major organ of the government, especially executive, it means Nepal government; legislature, it means parliament; and judiciary, it means Supreme Court, High Court, and District Court. Look here. Although the legislature, executive, and judiciary function independently, this legislature, executive, judiciary, they have their own independent existence. Therefore, they work also independently. There cannot be interfere on their activities by anyone, any other organ of the government. Legislature has freedom to carry out its activities, without any interference of other organ of the government. Similarly, executive has also same right. Judiciary also has same right. Yes, they exist in a reciprocal relation by maintaining check and balance. But what is there? If any organ of the three major organs of the government, if out of three, any organ of the government, carry out any activities beyond the limitation by violating the rules and regulation, constitution, at that time, race organ of the government, like executive and judiciary, can raise voice against it, can file case against the judiciary. And they assist as well as interfere in each other's work so as to become responsible on duty. Last time what has been done regarding this? One example can be given to you. Recent actually incident took place in Nepal in the political sphere. KP Sharma Oli second time dissolved the parliament, but race political parties, their member of parliament, member of legislature did not agree with the decision. That decision instantly taken by practiced by the KP Sharma. Therefore, that few leaders of some political parties went to the Supreme Court and filed case against the KP Sharma Oli and its government. Yes, government. It had happened there. It means what? Executive government doesn't have a freedom to misuse the parliament, dissolve the parliament without any reason, without any sort of logical reason. Similarly, judiciary also doesn't have a right to give any sort of verdict and decision on to any political parties or to any political leader according to its will and desire. Okay, judiciary, Supreme Court, High Court, District Court has to give fair verdict and decision on the basis of the existing laws, without disturbing, without interfering to the executive and legislature. I mean to say that these three organs of government, that can work independently, but without disturbing with each other. It is called balance. Yes, check and balance. They have a relation of check and balance. Yes, they have a relation of check and balance. Look here. This is called another. It is another actually functions of the judiciary. Look here now. Look here. Other information also I have brought. Legislature from the executive. How they actually maintain the check and balance relation here is described. Okay, check and balance relation. Legislature from the executive. It means a prime minister, home minister, race minister are elected and nominated from the legislature. Legislature is parliament. Look here. Without legislature, they cannot be from the executive government. Are you listening? Government cannot be formed. It means government take birth from the legislature, and therefore legislature from the executive can dissolve it once and raise question against it, bad deeds, and passes the annual budget as well. That means legislature has a right to form the executive, can dissolve it as well, and can warn also time and again, and can raise question also if it carries out any sort of deeds, bad activities, if it does a bad decision against the actually people, if it passes the budget against the that particular political party or particular community, at that time legislature can even dissolve the executive. Yes. In this way, there has been maintained the check and balance relation between legislature and executive. Executive also has a right to check the legislature. Yes. Similarly, executive also can check the legislature by summoning and proroguing the session and declaring the uh, ordinance. Look, right? Executive, yes, someone means call the meeting of the legislature. Executive, when अब भनौँ न लेजिस्लेचरको मिटिङ कहिले राख्ने भनेर एक्जिक्युटिभले के गर्छ मिटिङ राख्ने काम गर्छ फोरोगोइङ त्यसलाई यु नो द्याट कन्टिन्यू अथवा डिस्कन्टिन्यू के गर्ने such decision also can be done by the executive. Meeting of the parliament, meeting of the legislature, session of the legislature can be someone also can be prorogued also by the legislature. At the same time, executive, Nepal government or government can declare the ordinance also. Ordinance is also, it is called in Nepali ordinance. It is raw law, isn't it? But in course of time, if it is passed by 2/3 majority of the legislature, ordinance also can change into law. Actually, lawmaking body of Nepal government, I mean in Nepal, is legislature. But same actually lawmaking work is sometimes done by executive also when there is not session of legislature, when there is not meeting of legislature going on at that time. If they require urgent law, you know that new law to solve the new case filed in any court at that time, ordinance can be issued by, you know, executive as well, although it is the work of the legislature. In this way, legislature and executive, you know, that check and balance each other's power. Similarly, look here, legislature check the judiciary as well. Look here, legislature checks the judiciary also, controls the judiciary also. It means the legislature, parliament control the Supreme Court, High Court, and District Court as well. How it actually control and check? By approving the appointment of judges. To whom on the post of judges of High Court, District Court, or Supreme Court, to whom should be appointed? There can be the role of legislature or not. Similarly, to whom should be removed from the post? Yes, who has poor role, who is not carrying out his their responsibilities there honestly and efficiently. So judges, chief judge or chief justice can be removed from their post as well by 2/3 decision of 2/3 majority of the legislature. Look here. Just similarly, judiciary also may ask the clarification to the legislature for formulating the contradictory laws. यदि हैन पार्लियामेन्टले कुनै एकदमै विरोधाभासपूर्ण एकदमै बाजिने खालको कानुन निर्माण गर्यो भने you know judiciary can ask question to the member of legislature. Yes, member of legislature. In this way, there you know that there is relation of check and balance between legislature and judiciary as well. Are you listening? Similarly, judiciary even prepares and passes the precedent for new cases. Even judiciary has a right to prepare new law to solve the new kind of case which is filed in their office. Already I have told you about the precedent a lot. Precedent in course of time can be changed into new law as well. Yes. Similarly, look here, another actually example is here regarding the check and balance relation between, you know, different organ of the, among the different organ of the Nepal government, especially major organ of the Nepal government. Look, executive can pardon the punishment declared by the judiciary also. Suppose one criminal is there. Resam Chaudhary is in jail these days, because he caused the one murder, you know, that mass murder there in a western part of Nepal when there was going on movement of, you know, Tharu communities. Okay, Resam Chaudhary from Tharu community and his political parties, cadres, you know, that supporters killed small, you know, that teenager boy or girl there, and policeman, also so many policemen there in a, you know, the western part of Nepal. many years back, few years back, not so many years back. Therefore, he has been taken into the custody there. He is in jail now. Recently, KP Sharma Oli's government executive tried to release him from the jail. It means government sometimes, executive sometimes can pardon, can give, what to say, can pardon, yes, can pardon the any criminal as well, especially political criminal, okay, political criminal, if executive desire. अब यो मुस्लिम कन्ट्रिजहरुतिर पनि हुन्छ त on the occasion of Eid, many criminal who are actually put into prison are freed, okay, they are released from the jail. Similarly, executive also can release the criminal, from the jail, although judiciary actually have declared punishment to them to put into prison for few years or whole years, okay, throughout their life. Similarly, look here, judiciary also warrants stay order in a name of the executive for the decision that is against law. If any decision is done by Nepal government executive, अब executive भनेकै नेपाल गभर्नमेन्ट हो हैन, नेपाल सरकारलाई नै executive भन्छ, कार्यपालिका भन्छ. If government does any sort of decision against the law, judiciary has a right, Supreme Court has a right, District Court and High Court has a right to warrant stay order, can actually give the decision, can stop to carry out such activities and function there. So judiciary also warrant stay order, can give warrant stay order to the executive for the decision that is against the law. In this way, even executive and judiciary has a check and balance relation between them. They control with each other. Executive control judiciary, judiciary control executive. Legislature control judiciary, judiciary control legislature. Okay, judiciary, legislature control executive, executive control legislature. It is called check and balance relation among the three major organs of the government. These are also the other power and function of the judiciary. Look here. Especially there has been given their writer has tried to justify us that how is the relation between three major organs of the government. Look here, again I have brought same figure last time also, yesterday also I showed you. Who is he? He is Cholendra Samser Jabara. Am I right? Understand? Cholendra Samser Jabara, present Chief Justice of Nepal. Chief Justice, who is known as Chief Justice? Head of the Supreme Court is known as Chief Justice. Okay, main judge of the Supreme Court is known as Chief Justice. Is the present Chief Justice of Nepal, Cholendra Samser Jabara. His team, that because of his decision, Sherbahadur Deva has become Prime Minister of Nepal at present. You may not know. Okay. There was filed case in a Supreme Court. Already I have described about that. Okay, and he was also there to give the verdict, such verdict, fair verdict. So on behalf of democracy, on behalf of Constitution, Parliament, and on behalf of Sherbahadur Deva. Therefore, there has been saved even Parliament, Constitution, as well as Sherbahadur Deva also has got the fair verdict and decision. Therefore, he is Prime Minister at present. Look here. Who heads the judiciary? Where I have told you yesterday also, Tej Bahadur Kesi is the Chief Judge of Province Number 1. Surendra Singh Basnath is the Chief Justice of Chief Justice, not Chief Judge. Chief Judge head of the High Court like Chief Judge Province Number 2. Similarly, Tej Bahadur Mokhtan, he is the Chief Judge of Province Number 3. Already I have told you regarding them. Dambar Shahi, look here, he is the Chief Judge of Province Number 6. Similarly, Prakash Dhungana, he is the Chief Judge of Province Number 7. Time is going to be over, therefore I'm in a bit hurry. Look here, again, I'm going to show you the same figure. Yesterday I showed you Sarvocha Adalat, Supreme Court. If you want to get the fair verdict, fair decision, fair, that justice from the District Court, High Court, Ulabari Police Station, judicial committees from in a municipality, village executive, you can go to the District Court. If District Court also cannot give you the fair justice, you can go to the High Court and file same case there. If you are not satisfied with the case given by the decision given by the High Court, also you can go and file case in a Supreme Court also. Supreme Court, whatever decision give you will be the final decision. Okay, this is the building of the Supreme Court of Nepal. This much for today. Thank you guys for listening me so much carefully. Have a nice day ahead. See you tomorrow. Bye everyone.
Bye bye, sir.
Bye bye, sir.
Bye bye, sir.